Hello and welcome to our session, our program on the topic power of habits. Mm. So, this is a very relevant topic for all the youths, mm, uh, the students, and when we understand the importance of habits in our life, then we can be actually successful in our life. So, we'll see in details about this power of habits. So, if we see about the definition of habit, we can see that it is a mental attitude. It is a practice that is hard to give up. So, we understand any bad habit we develop, it is very difficult to give it up. So, bad habits can be of various categories. Some bad habits may be simple bad habits, like biting the nails, the fingernails. Some may be serious bad habits. For example, having a tendency to steal others' belongings. And some bad habits can be grave bad habits, which may be, for example, being violent, beating others up, even if there is a small quarrel, then beating others up. So this can be a very grave bad habit. So smoking, one of the most common bad habit that students develop, youths develop when they are young, they're coming to college, they develop these bad habits. So, bad habit, if you see the word habit, it starts with it, a small part, first, one time. So, one time one takes cigarette. The seniors may tell, try it for one time. What is the difficulty? Experience everything in life. What is the difficulty? Like that, the seniors may tell. So, once you take one cigarette and then it becomes a bit more, or one drop of wine or one glass of wine and then it becomes a bit more. And in that way, it becomes a bit more and more until it develops a habit. So in this way, that cycle of habit develops. There is a very famous Spanish proverb that habits are first cobwebs and then cables. The cobwebs, the makra, what is called in Hindi makra, makra एक जाल. So मकड़ा उसी का जाल में फंस के मर जाता है. Initially, the makra ka jal, the cobwebs, it is a very thin. It looks very thin. It is not a difficult thing. It looks, but then when the habits, the bad habits, first of all, it looked like, oh, this is very easy. Nothing will happen to me if I develop bad habit. What is the problem? Nothing is much. Nothing much effect will be there. But then gradually you get entangled, you get entangled, you get entangled in that. And then the bad habits will become like cables. It will become like chain rods. The steel, iron chain rods, it will become cable. So we need to be very careful in our life. And our attitude should be to develop good habits and give up the bad habits, the wrong habits. So how if the habits are developed actually? We see a very interesting slide out here. We see how the cycle is there. of habit formation. So sow a thought, reap an action. Whatever comes into the mind, which we convert it into action. If we think about something again and again and again, ultimately we will try to do it. It will become action. Sow an action, reap a habit. And that same action you repeat and repeat and repeat, it becomes a habit. And that habit, whatever habit you develop, people will know you by that nature. And that will become your character. And then whatever character you will develop, then your destiny will be fixed in that way. So we have to know very carefully that what thoughts we are cultivating within our mind. So habits and mind is a very correlated thing. Habits are not only physical, it is subtle. Subtle. It is in the subtle platform. That means it is connected to the mind. Very much it is connected to the mind. And Bhagavad Gita, the scripture, the Bhagavad Gita is telling a lot of things about the mind. The science of mind is told in the Bhagavad Gita. And you will see from the Bhagavad Gita also in today's session. So, habits causing harm to us, intoxication. Intoxication means the cigarettes and then wine. It gives immediate flickering gratification without caring for the most dangerous consequences. So everyone is trying to find happiness. Everyone is running after short-term so-called happiness. जिधर पे भी हैप्पीनेस मिल जाता है, लोग सोचता है तुरंत उसके ऊपर झपट्टा मार के उसको ले लो, बस जहां से भी थोड़ा ग्रेटिफिकेशन मिल जाए उसके ऊपर झपट्टा मार के वो ले लो. नहीं, ऐसा हम लोग का एटीट्यूड नहीं होना चाहिए. Wherever there is enjoyment, short term, people jump on it without thinking what will be the consequences. बुद्धि भी नहीं लगाता है, अपना बुद्धि भी नहीं लगाता है. So one should have the discrimination power that this bad habit, if I develop, what will be the result of this after some time, after 1 or 2 years. That intelligence should be there. Unfortunately, people are working on the platform of mind. When the mind sees something to enjoy, and people forget using their intelligence. That is how they fall in trap. इसी तरीके से वो ट्रैप में गिर जाता है और फंस जाता है. तो कोई मान लीजिए दारू पी रहा है, पहले कुछ देर पे तो आनंद लगेगा, कुछ सेकंड्स के लिए तो वो भोग करेगा ना, कुछ सेकंड्स के लिए लगेगा कि अरे क्या हो गया, क्या बहुत एंजॉयमेंट, ऐसा लगेगा कुछ सेकंड के लिए. बस वही कुछ सेकंड पार हो जाता है तो क्या होता है, फिर डिप्रेशन में वो चला जाता है. सो इलेशन टू डिप्रेशन. So therefore, we need to be careful in our life to see that short-term happiness, वो सब short-term happiness जो हम लोग अपना लाइफ में सोचते हैं कि इसको पालेंगे बस तुरंत हैप्पीनेस मिल जाएगा, तो इस तरीके से वो फंस जाता है और वो डिप्रेशन में चला जाता है एक्चुअली. बिकॉज एनी वे वी आर ट्राइंग टू ग्रेटिफाई अवर सेंसेस एंड माइंड. मन और जो इंद्रिय है, सेंसेस, इसको ग्रेटिफाई करना चाह रहे हैं हम लोग. मतलब है कि वट एवर द माइंड एंड सेंसेस आर वांटिंग, वी आर इमीडिएटली ट्राइंग टू गिव इट विदाउट थिंकिंग द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस. बिना सोच के उसका रिजल्ट क्या होगा, बिना सोच के हम लोग उसको माइंड और सेंसेस जो भी डिमांड कर रहा है इमीडिएटली उसको फॉलो करो, इमीडिएटली वो माइंड और सेंसेस का दासत्व करो. उसका स्लेव बन जाओ, माइंड और सेंसेस का स्लेव बन जाओ. The whole world is doing this thing. The whole world is doing this thing. And in this way, the whole world is suffering by serving, becoming slave to the mind and senses. So what is we want to become? We want to become slave of the mind and senses, or we want to become the master of the mind and senses. So that is our choice. If we try to become master of the mind and senses, we will become happy in a long term. Initially, it may be difficult, but in the long term, it will give happiness. So intelligent person will want to become master of the mind and senses, and a foolish person will want to become slave of the mind and senses. By consuming intoxicants, your mind is not your own anymore. So our health is gone by indulging in intoxication, by indulging in so many wrong habits, bad habits. So in good association, you develop good habits. And when we get the opportunity for good association, जहां पे ऐसा एक तो संघ है जहां पे हम लोग अच्छा हैबिट्स डेवलप कर पाते हैं, हाँ, तो वो संघ, वो एसोसिएशन बहुत ही दुर्लभ है, बहुत ही रेयर है. और उस संघ में हम लोग का एटीट्यूड होना चाहिए कि हम अच्छा हैबिट्स डेवलप करेंगे. आई वांट टू डेवलप गुड हैबिट्स. So another very dangerous bad habit that youths are developing nowadays is obscene entertainment. The pornographic content in the internet is increasing so much. Billions and trillions of times it is increasing. It is obscene, illicit entertainment, which is very, very dangerous to the youths. So what are the disadvantages by indulging in obscene entertainment? First of all, purity is lost. One's pure state of mind will be lost by indulging in obscene entertainment. Then wisdom will be lost. We cannot think about higher things. Peace of mind will be lost. Power of inquiry, higher inquiry. Who am I? Where I have come from? Who is God? What is my relationship with God? Why I am suffering? Even if I don't want suffering, why I am suffering? These kinds of higher inquiry, higher questions will not come in the mind. If one indulges in illicit sexual content in the internet, power to grasp, memory power will decrease. If you lose semen, your memory power will decrease. This is a very much well-known fact. The Vedic science tells it, and the modern science is also corroborating with it. The memory power decreases. You experiment in your own life. You experiment in your own life. If you stop losing semen, your determination power will increase and your memory power will increase. So, power to discriminate. पावर टू डिस्क्रिमिनेट, कौन सा चीज अच्छा है, कौन सा चीज बुरा है, ये भी हम लोग भूल जाते हैं. इसको डिफरेंस करना भी हम लोग भूल जाते हैं. When one indulges in obscene entertainment, the power to discriminate is lost. It is decreased. And then the self-confidence is decreased. And determination, lastly, determination power is also decreased. When one loses semen. So again, another thing which is very much common in today's day is the internet addiction. Because of the age of social media and the age of video game and AI, all these things, people are addicted to internet. And this is causing great havoc in their lives. Now children nowadays, they are knowing everything about mobile, but they are not learning ABCD. This is research, Times of India, it was published in the newspaper. Children are using mobile, they know everything about mobile, but ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4, they don't know. They're not able to tell the multiplication, addition, or the sentence structure or ABCD. They are not learning it. They fail to answer the questions related to these basic things. So this is the dangerous consequences of internet addiction. So it must be checked. The mobile phone is the interface of the mind. The mind is uncontrolled, and whatever it is coming in the mind, people are searching in the mobile phone. And in that way, they are actually not only wasting a lot of time, but they are disturbing their mind very, very much, and nothing productive the youths and the children are doing in today's day. So you need to analyze that whether our mind is lazy or it is my friend or enemy. We need to analyze that. The soul. Above the mind is the soul. So senses are there. The senses are those gateways through which the information enters. Information enters through the senses. And where the information is processed, it is stored. The information is stored rather than processed. The better to tell is stored. Where it is stored, it is in the mind. And what to do with that intelligence? What to do with that information? The intelligence decides. The intelligence is the decision maker. And above mind and intelligence is the Atma, the soul, the self. So this is how the Bhagavad Gita is telling us. So if we see another example that the Puranas are telling us is that the body can be compared with a chariot. This chariot has 5 horses. These 5 horses represents the 5 senses. Each sense has its corresponding sense object. The eyes want to see beautiful form. Then the tongue want to taste beautiful foodstuff. Then the skin wants to touch beautiful, soft objects, the skin. The soft object is the sense object of skin, the sense, right? So similarly, the ears want to hear nice music, nice sound. Similarly, the nose want to smell very nice odor. So sugandh पाना चाहता है नाक. तो सेंसेस का पर्टिकुलर सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट है और हर एक सेंस उस सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट के पीछे भाग रहा है. और ये जो रोप है, ये रोप है माइंड. ये रोप है माइंड. और जो ड्राइवर है वो है इंटेलिजेंस. ड्राइवर कौन है? इंटेलिजेंस. और जो सवारी सादा कोट में बैठा हुआ है वो है आत्मा, द सोल. तो ड्राइवर अगर ठीक ठाक से गाड़ी नहीं चलाएगा, चैरियट को नहीं चलाएगा, तब क्या होगा? चैरियट इधर उधर जाएगा. और घोड़ा बहुत ही चंचल है, द सेंसेस एंड द माइंड, उसको अगर इंटेलिजेंस से कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाया, तब वो रथ का चक्का इधर उधर होगा और फिर वो गड्ढा में गिरेगा. So this is the example from the Puranas. So our mind also, there is this conscious mind and subconscious mind. Whatever we practice in our mind, whatever we practice in our daily life, that comes within our subconscious mind. Subconscious mind plays a very big role in our decision making. We may not understand, but we feel that we are taking every decision by using conscious mind. But no, subconscious mind का एक बहुत बड़ा role होता है decision making में. And what affects the subconscious mind is the effect of impressions, the effect of faith, and the effect of association. Impression, जो भी हम लोग इनपुट जा रहा है माइंड में सारा दिन में, तो वो इम्प्रेशन डालता है माइंड में, और सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में जाके वो सेटिंग हो जाता है उसका. इफेक्ट ऑफ फेथ, everyone has his own philosophy of life. What is faith? Means everyone is convinced about that philosophy of life. So वो सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में उसका इफेक्ट हो जाता है. और इफेक्ट ऑफ एसोसिएशन, किन लोगों के साथ वो एसोसिएट कर रहा है, किन लोगों के साथ वो रह रहा है, किन लोगों का विचार वो अपना माइंड में घुसा रहा है, वो सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में जाके स्टोर हो जाता है. So subconscious mind is like chitta. So there are different thoughts which comes, vritti, the thoughts, and then vasana, desires, sanskar, impression, kalpana, imagination, shruti, memory. So in that way, the cycle is there of subconscious mind. The thoughts that are there in the mind, desires, impressions, these are all stored in the subconscious mind. तो हैबिट कैसे फॉर्म होता है और इसका साइकिल कैसे होता है ये हम लोग देखेंगे. So objects are there and association is there. According to the objects and association, we develop thoughts and desires within the mind. और प्रीवियस कर्म के कारण भी होता है वो थॉट्स एंड डिजायर्स आता है प्रीवियस जो हम लोग किए हैं. तो उस हिसाब से एक्शन और रिएक्शन हम लोग को भोग करना पड़ता है. तो जो रिएक्शन हम लोग भोग करेंगे उसका वो क्या हो सकता है कि टेम्पोररी पेन्स एंड प्लेजर्स. द एक्शन और रिएक्शन में हम लोग टेम्पोररी पेन्स एंड प्लेजर्स को भोग करते हैं. अच्छा कार्य करे तो अच्छा रिजल्ट आता है, बुरा कार्य करे तो बुरा रिजल्ट आता है. Pains and pleasures we get, and in that way the reaction, the mental, it goes into the mind also when you get the reaction, and it again becomes a cycle. It again triggers another thought again at a later time. So in this way the cycle of habit formation is going on. Aristotle told one thing: good habits formed at youth make all the difference. So youth is a very important time. If we don't develop good habits in youth, we cannot develop it later time, in the latter part of the life. So it is the best time to develop good habits. So Bhagavad Gita, if one studies Bhagavad Gita, so many great persons have studied Bhagavad Gita, they have got benefited from these scriptures. So if we apply and learn Bhagavad Gita, then we will benefit and we will be able to control our mind and senses, and we will be able to develop good habits. Mahatma Gandhi, Einstein, they all used to study Bhagavad Gita. So every time there is a tug of war going on between the mind and the intelligence. So if we hear the intelligence, we will be better. We will be in better situation. If we hear the mind is very, very flickering. Whatever it sees pleasure, it immediately takes. It does not think what will be the result. So temptation is there, and the mind is succumb to the bad habits and temptations. But if we make the intelligence stronger, then it will be then we will be able to control the mind. तो जैसे वो चैरियट ड्राइवर में, वो ड्राइवर कौन था? इंटेलिजेंस. और ड्राइवर को स्ट्रांग होना पड़ेगा, तब जाके वो क्या कर पाएगा? वो चैरियट को कंट्रोल कर पाएगा. So intelligence thinks, mind feels. And in this scenario, our association also matters very much. Jaisa sang, vaisa rang. Life is made of choices. Choices decide our future. Habits activate choices. तो डिसीजन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है. कौन सा चॉइस हम लोग कर रहे हैं लाइफ का, कौन सा टाइम पे, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि उसी के ऊपर डिपेंड करके सब कुछ निर्भर हो जाएगा. वो मैटर करता है. और डिसीजन, बड़े बड़े डिसीजन लेने का मौका जिंदगी में बार बार नहीं आता है. एक बार गलत डिसीजन ले लिया तो उसका खामियाजा बाद में बहुत भुगतना पड़ता है. सो हैबिट्स एक्टिवेट आवर चॉइसेस. माइंड इज लाइक ए बुक. Whatever we read, mental script is written by this way. Whatever we read, what movies we see, what music we listen, what kind of friends we keep, everything matters. And in that way, the mental script is written. So you should be careful to give good input to the mind. If you get good input, then good will come out. If you give garbage to the mind, garbage will come out. And the result will be bad. So there is a study by Washington University, George Washington University, that religious believers are found to be less prone to suicide, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, divorce, stress, and depression. People who attended a spiritual program at least once a week lived average 7 years longer than those who don't attend it at all. So spirituality has great good effect on the mind. Spiritual practices like meditation, Oxford University Press is telling it. The research has been done, and it is good for health also. Suicidal tendencies decrease, psychological disorders decrease by spirituality. A high SQ or faithfulness to God appears to benefit people of all means, educational levels, and ages. SQ, spiritual quotient, is very essential in today's day. Harvard Medical School research has also is stating that contemporary medical research is showing that human mind and body are wired for God. This human form of life should be utilized to know about God. A time-covered story puts it even more explicit terms. When it comes to health, the faithful actually have God on their side. So, the human life is meant to know about God, to know what is my relationship with God. The spiritual search is very essential aspect of human life. Robert Arkin, the psychologist of Ohio State University, is telling the cycle of materialistic pursuits is disappointing and exhausting in the long run and can make people perpetually unhappy. Whatever I get to see, I acquire those things. I try to enjoy this world to the fullest extent. This pursuit is called as materialistic pursuit. And this is disappointing and exhausting in the long run. So spiritual pursuit is what going towards in the human form of life. There is a triple S star formula for developing good habits. Starve bad habits, abstain from bad people and bad objects, supplement good habits, sustain with good association and good objects, sustain through introspection and self-correction, and stay away from tempting environments and association. This is the triple S formula. And then there is 5D formula. The 5D formula for developing good habits. First of all, we should have desire. We should have desire to restrain our mind, to train our mind. Our mind may not like good things. It will say no, but we have to train our mind. We have to force our mind. We should not go according to the liking and disliking of our mind. We should have that desire that I will strengthen my intelligence and I will not listen to my mind. The mind is like a child. And then not only desire is sufficient. Second day is discriminate. We have to sharpen our intelligence by hearing from scriptures. Shastra, the Vedic literatures are so much helpful for human being. But unfortunately, the political leaders, the leaders of society do not highlight it. So we have to sharpen our intelligence by hearing from Bhagavad Gita, the Vedic scriptures. Then our intelligence will be strong. We can decide by our own that what is good for me and what is bad for me. We can see in the long term. Then we should have determination. कोई भी अच्छा पथ में जाना है तो पेशेंस रखना बहुत जरूरी है. पेशेंस वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आज का दिन में आजकल लोगों को पेशेंस बहुत ही कम होते जा रहा है. दिस इज वेरी वेरी अनफॉर्चुनेट. पेशेंस लेवल कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है आजकल दिन में, आजकल लोगों का लेवल में, आजकल लोगों में द पेशेंस इज डिक्रीजिंग. So that will not bring us success. For success, we have to know patience. For developing good habits, we have to know that it will come slowly, slowly, not in one day. It is not one-day cricket or T20 cricket, but it is a marathon race. Slowly it will happen. And we should have enthusiasm. We must remain enthusiastic. The mind will not want to become enthusiastic after some time. But again, we should be enthusiastic in our pursuit of developing good habits. And we should have determination. बहुत लोग बहुत कुछ उल्टा पुल्टा बोल सकता है, बहुत लोग डिस्करेज कर सकता है, लेकिन डिस्करेज्ड नहीं होना है. That determination should be there. And you have to depend on divine association. We have to depend on association. You have to take guidance from those seniors who are trying to develop good habits. We should be grateful to them rather than thinking that they are forcing us. No, we should be grateful to them. कृतज्ञता ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वालिटी है, बहुत एसेंशियल क्वालिटी है ह्यूमन लाइफ का, हालांकि आज के दिन में यह बहुत ज्यादा घटता जा रहा है. So you have to depend on good association. Without good association, we cannot develop good habits. And lastly, we have to de-addict ourselves. We have to replace bad habits with good habits. And that good habit is yoga, connecting with the Supreme. So that is yoga, the spiritual pursuit. So that will help us de-addict. And in this, by using this 5D formula, we can develop good habits. By spiritual practices, we can develop good habits. So that will be permanent effect. So let us put the armor of thinking, behavior, and attitude. These three things, if we change and make it proper, our attitude should be proper, our behavior should be proper, and our thinking should be in the right direction. Then we will be able to develop good habits. So in behavior, in thinking, we should think logically every situation, whether this is good for me or bad for me. We should apply intelligence. And behavior, how we can develop? Through assessment. अपने आप को assess करना कि कहाँ मैं जा रहा हूँ, कौन सा दिशा में जा रहा हूँ, whether I am developing determination or not, whether I am developing discipline or not. That is the behavior. And that attitude should be there. So here we will end our today's discussion on the power of habits. Hope you all will apply these principles in your life and become happy in the long term. So I end here. Thank you for your patient hearing.